Hello, good morning. My name's Billy Oliver. I'm here from Syniverse and I'm here to present our innovation, Universal Commerce. It's a solution for unlocking the monetization of 5G and the Internet of Things. So let's start by looking at the current state of the market. So as many of you know, MNOs have invested and continue to invest huge sums into network infrastructure. And this is not just millions of dollars, this is billions of dollars. And the majority of that investment is in 5G standalone, so a significant amount of capital spend. 5G standalone and the Internet of Things is going to result in substantial growth in the number of operator connections, and these connections will lead to many different types of business partnerships. So what is the problem? The problem is, how do operators successfully secure the highest return of investment in 5G standalone and the Internet of Things? Well, really, an evolution is required in roaming. Not so much an evolution as a revolution. So as operators move to fully embrace 5G standalone technology and the Internet of Things, their billing and charging has to evolve in order to fully monetize untapped revenue. If we think about how clearing and settlement is done today, it's done using a legacy format called TAP. And TAP really is ill-suited to the task because it's far too rigid and unable to cope with the demands of new and innovative charging models. So let's have a think about, how are charging mechanisms today? Well, they rely on charging for usage. But if we think of the Internet of Things as an example, there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of things moving across operator networks. And we're really charging just by usage. However, there is, untapped revenue because you can use a charging model which is per IMSI per day to realize additional revenue streams. And then if we think about 5G standalone and network slicing, again, there will be different ways to charge. I mean, we all know operators are being asked to do more with less, and the explosion in the types of business relationships that mobile network operators will have, it can lead to operational overhead. So let's just think about, roaming monetization. I talked a little bit on the previous slide about TAP. So TAP was released by the GSMA back in 1995, so a long, long time ago. And it's not going to be developed any further, it's frozen. Now, the billing and charging evolution was introduced, it's a standard that was introduced to harness the potential for the full monetization of 5G standalone and the Internet of Things. Essentially, we're moving to an all data world, and roaming departments, they're being asked to find new revenue streams. And it's not enough to rely purely on BCE. BCE is only a standard. So what Syniverse did is we thought about a different way of thinking, kind of reimagining the possibilities, thinking about the way that operators work, the way that they could automate, and considering what could be next. While there are several service providers who can clear and settle BCE, the billing and charging evolution, there's only one solution that can support what we at Syniverse call universal commerce. So universal commerce, it enables monetization of data using the industry's first blockchain-enabled clearing and settlement. And universal commerce is the only BCE solution that can support multilateral settlement. And I will come on to explain multilateral settlement in a future slide. So essentially, the solution is innovative and built for companies with bigger ambitions. As operators seek to find new revenue streams, they're going to be dealing with use cases outside of traditional roaming. So let's move on to the solution. When the standard BCE was first being created, we didn't just look at the BCE standard. We looked at kind of how every step of clearing and settlement process could be improved, reimagined the possibilities, and just didn't focus on now, but focused on the future. How can businesses improve their efficiency, their reconciliation, their dispute handling, and settlement, or rather the business end of monetization. So universal commerce is built on Hyperledger Fabric, which is a permissioned network business blockchain framework. Now, as soon as we say blockchain, people think of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Those are public blockchains. What Hyperledger Fabric is, it's a permissioned blockchain. So all the data on that blockchain is on a need-to-know basis. So essentially what you would do is you would agree your commercial terms, and those commercial terms and the duration of that agreement are logged using immutable smart contracts. We then validate that format and log the result, and then there is automated reconciliation of volume and the executed rating logic and the log of that result. So Hyperledger Fabric has built-in performance and scalability. There is automated invoice creation, or what are known as charging documents, and then essentially the monetization part, there is an optimized cash flow. So the blockchain brings security and immutability with every transaction marked with a digital fingerprint, your digital fingerprint, and your partner's digital fingerprint. I'm going to talk now a little bit about multilateral settlement, and this is really unique in terms of clearing and settlement. So traditionally in bilateral settlement, you would have two partners who essentially say, I owe you money, you owe me money, let's net that off together. What multilateral settlement does is it takes that one step further. Instead of just having two partners, we have what we call a payment hub. And it's like a settlement club, if you like, where all operators who are part of that club agree to fund on a monthly basis. And what we do with that funding is we are able to net it in a new and innovative way. When we're not just looking at the bilateral agreements, we're looking at all agreements that are part of that multilateral settlement. So if we just look at the example here, we can see, and this is only showing three participants just to simplify the method. Essentially, we have operator A who owes operator B $250,000 and owes operator C $375,000. So essentially we would say, hey, you need to fund $625,000 into the multilateral settlement pool. Now, because this is multilateral settlement, we're able to ascertain that operator B will actually receive $250,000 from operator A. However, they owe operator C $500,000. Now, traditionally, we would say, hey, you need to fund $500,000. But because they're part of this multilateral settlement pool, we know that they're going to receive $250,000. So we say, don't send $500,000. You only need to fund $250,000 into the pool. And then operator C, they're owed money by both participants, so they receive what they're due at $875,000. So imagine that with hundreds of partners. What we envisage is a future where you can apply this multilateral settlement model beyond roaming. So, for example, it can be used for private network settlement or open RAN settlement. In fact, anywhere where settlement takes place, we can use this multilateral settlement pool. So kind of imagine going to your treasury or to your CFO and stating, hey, we don't need the usual $5 million this month for meeting our payable obligations. We now only require $2 million. So that's kind of optimizing that cash flow and keeping $3 million within the operator. So universal commerce itself, it's not a POC. It's up and running, available today, and it's being used. And it's presented through a self-service portal, Symphony, and ensures that operators have all the tools and transparency to enable business decisions. I mean, you have full visibility of everything that is going on. So very simple dashboard view. When you log into the solution first thing in the morning, it displays all your smart contract information, all your usage reports, your billing statement reports, charging documents, that's your invoices, disputes, file download, configuration, and companies. And you can toggle between both commercial live agreements and test agreements. So if we take the agreements or the smart contracts as an example, you can see that here there are 54 agreements which are pending on the operator to either approve or reject, and 80 agreements pending on the partner. And it's the same for rate plans, charging documents, usage summary reports, and so on. So as I said, it's not a POC, it's up and running, it's live today. We have operators on every continent in the world using this solution. And we anticipate that we'll see an additional 30 networks in 2024. So there's a real domino effect going on in terms of operators who are utilizing this solution to realize new revenue streams. So it's built on, as I said before, Hyperledger Fabric. So why did we choose Hyperledger Fabric? Well, it's used by some of the biggest organizations worldwide across a number of sectors. So you have companies like SAP, Intel, Hewlett-Packard, Microsoft use this, Amazon. We see some of the big banks, for example, BNP Paribas, UBS, and also we see it in logistics. So companies like Maersk are using this solution. And it's really, as I said, universal commerce is built for carriers with kind of bigger ambitions. And as I said, we see use cases not only in roaming, but in Open RAN, private networks, electrical vehicle charging, for example, smart cities. If you think about the enterprises that operators are interacting with in agricultural, industrial, transportation, shipping, and even kind of utilities. In fact, wherever data is exchanged, universal commerce can unlock monetization by standardizing the non-standard. And of course, this all comes with enhanced security and an optimized cash flow. So let's go back to the top of the presentation. Billions of dollars have been invested in 5G standalone and the Internet of Things. New charging models are required to unlock those new revenue streams. So universal commerce, what it actually does is enables frictionless business with the security and immutability and operational efficiency of the blockchain. And this is all done on a single ledger utilizing the multilateral settlement pool. So universal commerce, it's a future-proof solution that helps you to fast-track change and provides a frictionless path to cash. The future is not tomorrow. The future is now. Thanks for listening.